You can't be a critic of something until you try it and also have a point of reference, right? If you go to one program and you're like, oh my God, that was the most amazing thing ever, but you've never seen a better one or maybe a worse one, you have to always have points of reference.
LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down. LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down.
Welcome to LawFlip. It's a conversation about law, life, politics, being a trial attorney, everything in between. I'm Benjy Smith with attorney Michelle Nabati, new to the Smith and Benowitz crew.
Ciao, guys.
And we got Tom Feher, and beyond him being gorgeous, look at that smile. He is a personal injury attorney. He's had $40-50 million of verdicts in the past few years, and he's tried over 40 cases to verdict. He's going to tell us all about it today. So if you get something out of this show, like the show on social media, I want you to share it with your miserable friends, and I want you to voice your opinion about what we're talking about. Let us know, comment. Let's flip the game upside down. We all know it's annoying when you sign up for a subscription, but the trial period requires your credit card. Wouldn't it be great if you never had to submit your actual credit card, or you could block the merchant from charging you until you approve it?
That's how it should be.
Well, Michelle, that's how it is. With Rock Paper, you create a proxy credit card on demand that's linked to your actual credit card or debit card. The merchant can only charge you when you say so, and you don't have to give your credit card to another third party. It's that simple.
That sounds like a no-brainer.
Agreed. In fact, I moved all of our subscriptions over to Rock Paper. I no longer have to fear free trials because I used to be so scared about them. And I stopped worrying about automatic renewals. So rockpaper.com/lawflip, and there's no E in Rock Paper. So spend wisely, join the movement, let's go. Tom, like us, you do personal injury. I gotta think that for you, like us, it's so frustrating when you're an esteemed lawyer, you still get tagged with ambulance chaser. How do you deal with that, Tom?
I primarily deal with it or confront that in jury trials, and you have to get jurors talking about it. And ultimately, you give them an opportunity to connect with you, and you have to be a real human being. And if you are that way in a jury trial, over time and over the course of the trial, the jury sees you for who you are, which is somebody that cares about someone that's been hurt, that's had their life turned upside down, and that you're a voice for them and a conduit for justice. And the jury will feel those things. When it comes to getting clients, I do the same thing. I treat them like a friend would, and they see right away that I'm there to care for them. I'm there to help them. And I think it's just being a real person. At the end of the day, you have to realize these are just people that have had their life turned upside down, and you have to be there for them. You have to give them direction. You have to let them know what the process is going to look like. Transparency is super important. And you let people know, look, this is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to do the next month, 3 months. This is what's going to happen if they need, help right away. What's going to happen the next day, the next week. And you're transparent about it, and you're a human about it. And you actually show empathy, and you care about them. And they're not going to peg you as an ambulance chaser.
Sure. And you treat them like their family, and you yourself have a family. You have a wife and child, a newborn, right?
Yeah, well, he's going to be 9 months.
Oh, okay. So 9 months. So how does having a child impact the way that you look at your career?
Well, for one, I never thought I could love anyone as much
as yourself?
As my, well, definitely true. No. Hey, I have insecurity issues too. Like
we all do.
No, but having a son, it's like a new type of love. I mean, when I love my wife, and then we had a dog and loved my dog like crazy.
I've heard that about you.
Yeah. And my son, I was blown away at the amount of love I can have for another human being. And it's just, to me, it made me realize, I think, how important love is in the world. And also, the kind of another aspect of it is how stressful things can be. If you're trying to have a career, you're trying to have a healthy relationship with your wife, you're trying to take care and raise a kid.
It's almost impossible.
And you're trying to take care of yourself too, because you need to take care of yourself. You need to spend time for yourself. It's quite the juggling act. And so it's made me empathetic to everyone else. You don't know what people are going through, how stressful it is. That's just some of the stuff that we have responsibility wise, not with the added stressors that may be going on in life. So it made me empathetic, or maybe see other people in a different light and really kind of, I guess maybe be kind, like lead with kindness. It's kind of a thing I've been saying to myself for a while, like lead with it and try to treat people that way.
You had a kid before you started your own firm, right?
Yeah, he was born May 9th of 2019.
And when did you start your own firm?
October 11th of 2019.
Oh, it's my sister's birthday.
Oh, right. That's my birthday.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, my birthday's October 11th.
Oh, wow, you're a Libra.
That's
Yeah.
Okay, we don't believe in that stuff, Michelle, but
Well,
we appreciate
actually, you know what? I am very much a Librium. Like, I'm very much a person that sees both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I kind of joke. I went to UC Santa Cruz for undergrad, and I went to Pepperdine for law school, and they couldn't be, you know, more diametrically opposed, you know, maybe socially and politically. But I had a great time at both schools.
Okay, so putting that BS aside, before
That's
you started,
the Librium. Would watch out.
before
That's
you,
the extent of my belief, I suppose.
sure. Before
Fair and balanced.
Yeah. No, Libras are very fair and balanced.
That's literally my last name, Fair and Balanced.
Yes, it is. So what made you go out on your own?
You know, I've always wanted to do that. It's always been a dream of mine. When I first started working at a firm, I even told him, you know, this is always something in my mind, in the back of my mind. My father had his own shop. He is a business owner. And, you know, being at a firm for 8 years, you got to make a decision. It's like, you know, it's a pivotal moment in a sense, 7 or 8 years kind of. And you got to make it, you got to say, am I going to continue along this path, or am I going to build something on my own? Am I going to create a new legacy?
How scary was it for you?
I think it was scarier leading up to it. But maybe scary is not the word. It's just such an unknown.
Yeah.
And
but wasn't it like, did you feel like I did, where the moment that you started, you were like, I got this, I'm going to figure it out?
I said, you know, the one person I can trust is myself. Like I'm betting on myself. And I know I've built this reputation over 8 years in the community, and, you know, just go do it, man, you know? And it's the best thing I've done.
What advice do you have for people that are just, that the idea of it is just so overwhelming? What were some of the things you told yourself to pump yourself up to get it done?
I think you got to talk to people, and like, you know, I had a great support group of friends and other lawyers, and you just talk about these things. And you say, look, you know, I'm thinking about doing this, and there's so much support. The amount of support in the legal community is tremendous. And
especially in the plaintiffs community. That
was one of the most humbling things for me, is the minute I went off on my own, everyone offered to talk to me or to help me. It was so humbling. And I didn't realize just how special all of these, you know, people in the community, the lawyers, and how much they cared for me. And I think that's something that runs through my DNA, is I try to give back as much as possible, everything.
You do. You're always around for people.
That's just really important to me. And it's not, I don't want anything in return. I actually I feel good doing it. And, you know, teaching these things helps me too. I learn as I teach, because it makes me brush up on stuff.
Sure.
Because I want to make sure I'm not giving some bad information.
In our previous conversation, you talked about how your father was a Holocaust survivor. It's a big thing to grow up with. It's a lot of weight to carry for, obviously, for your dad. And then it's a generational thing that goes down the entire pipeline. How has that affected your life?
I'm a first generation American. I'm Hungarian, Romanian. I grew up in Los Angeles, and my father was born sometime in 1920. I don't know his exact age, because he came here and we didn't have the papers and whatnot, but he lost his first family as a result of the Holocaust, came here in war reparations. And my mom, on the other hand, she was in Romania under a dictator and communist rule. And she somehow found a way to get a temporary visa, and come here. And she used to tell me, she goes, you know, I used to see pictures of the farmer's market on Beverly, and I'd see the fruits, you know, all these colorful fruits on there. And she goes, I thought that was American propaganda. I said, no way, they have those conditions that great at that country. So both my parents came here, and they ended up marrying. There's a huge age gap between them, like 25, 30 years. But my dad was always a younger kind of guy. And it's the survival mentality of you can do anything, you can overcome anything. And that's what I've got from them.
Do you think that when you're driving to the courthouse, which is a time that most of us, it's scary, it's exciting, nerve-wracking. Do you think you take that mentality into it, like it's been sort of passed down to you? Or also like if they can do that, if they can overcome this, I could deal with this.
Well, 100%. I mean, to me, that's in sports. It's in It's in anything you do in life. You can, if hard work, dedication, commitment, treating people with respect, being fair. If you do these simple kind of meat and potatoes things and you have a vision, go do it. And you can and should.
What are some of the examples of things that have made you the lawyer that you are?
Straight up hard work. I dedicate myself to this craft, and I look at it as an art and a skill, and especially someone that aspired to be a trial lawyer, to communicate with people, to learn ways of persuading them, to evaluate my performance. I mean, I started doing this in law school, and I would be on trial team and I'd videotape myself as the only one doing that. I'd watch the video. I'd criticize.
What inspired you to do that?
I don't know if I heard, you know what? I was like, you watch film when we were playing football in high school, you'd watch your film of yourself to see how you performed. It's like, why aren't we doing it with, trials, so I could see what I look like and what are some of the mannerisms I have that may seem incongruent with what I'm saying, or how am I coming off, or how does it sound? And I just started doing that in trial, because in trial practice for lawyers and these competitions, because I wanted to win them and I wanted to be the best I could. And I did that for a little bit after when I first started being a trial lawyer too.
It's amazing. And then didn't you spent time in between law classes going to watch trials, didn't you?
I did. As a law student, I'd watch other lawyers try cases. I got to learn, or I got to know, I went out and tried to find out who are the lawyers that are trying cases. And I got involved with Cal, some other organizations, and met these other lawyers and watched them in trial.
Why should somebody spend the time who has their own practice giving up an entire day and go watching trials?
If that's what you want to do, is be a trial lawyer, then you have to see it, number one. But if you watch somebody ride a bicycle all day, it's not going to do you any good, right? Eventually you got to get on those, on that bike and ride it yourself. So one part is to learn what other people are doing to inform you, because there's not a lot of school. Like, you go to law school, I don't know, maybe I use 5% less of what I learned in law school. So I guess with respect to trial practice, I did learn a good bit, but I think you have to watch and then you have to do.
Yeah.
Those are the two things. If you want to do that, and if you want to run a practice, like a personal injury practice, for example, you should actually see a trial or participate in one to some extent, even if you don't want to be a trial lawyer, so you can understand what goes on in a trial. Because it's one thing to know on paper what goes on, or to even watch, but it's an entirely different thing to be a part of it.
You sell juries on millions of dollars of verdicts. We all sell ourselves. How do we make the sale?
Don't sell them. The injury and what it is right there. You're simply revealing the truth. I mean, we're talking about a person's life. What's the value of someone's life? What's the value of someone's health? You see how unpredictable and random life is, don't you? We just lost one of the greatest athletes of all time. Random and unpredictable, and potentially preventable.
Yep.
And that's why the moments in our life matter so much. Literally, each and every moment. This experience right now that we're having right here, we're trying to have a great experience, trying to educate people, entertain people, and to have that somehow taken away, or to have it somehow marred, or to have it restricted or restrained or damaged. That's what injuries are. So moments are all we have. How short is this life? Our lifespan is a blip in human existence, and we don't know when it'll go. And that's why it's so important to have the right to live your life the way you want to live it, and to not have a body that's disfigured or that doesn't work the right way, so that you don't have that freedom to live your life like that. And that's all I tell juries.
So there are seminars, there's classes, there's going to watch jury trials. How do we choose where to spend our time? Well,
I was saying earlier, you got to spend it everywhere. I mean, life is a buffet, right? Try everything. I mean, buffets generally aren't that good. Sorry to anyone who goes. You got to go.
The Vegas buffet at Cala was really weak. Anyway,
it's not a product of. It's just a buffet in general. Food is not meant to be served that way. But the idea is try everything. I'm not going to be. You can't be a critic of something until you try it, and also have a point of reference, right? If you go to one program and you're like, oh my God, that was the most amazing thing ever, but you've never seen a better one or maybe a worse one, you have to always have points of reference.
Walk us through a day in the life of Tom Feher.
This last week, I got up every day at 3:30. I handled emails, started prepping for trial. I'm a person that lives and breathes my trial. I go work out, run 4 miles in the morning, get home. My wife and kid are waking up. I spend time with my kid, read him I have bought him books, even though he's 9 months. I bought him these kid books and I read it to him. I find it more fascinating myself, like the Bermuda Triangle or, things like that, or Charles Darwin. Anyway, so I'll do that. Then I try to get to court early because it's going to take me about an hour to get there. I'll do prep while I get there, have my double espresso before I get ready for trial and try a case. And then I'm there till 4:30. And then after that, I may go meet somebody who wants to talk about a case or two, or maybe it's something that we would work on together. And so I'll go to their office, stay there for a couple hours. I'll head home. I'll be home by 6:30 just to have time to say goodnight to my kid, have dinner, maybe have a glass of wine if possible, answer all the emails I didn't answer because I was in trial, do all the logistics and administrative stuff I've got to do. And try to spend some time with my wife too. That's amazing. Do it all over again.
He has like 3 full days in a day.
My dad one time was complaining to my grandfather about being super tired. It was like 11:30 a.m. and he was complaining. And my grandfather said, I've been working like 8 hours by that time. And my dad was like, when you hear stories like what you're describing, it really puts into context like the true extent of what you're capable of. And like, there's more time and there's always enough time to get stuff done. So that's an incredible day. So how do you maintain your sanity? That's a pretty extensive day. How do you maintain your sanity? How do you turn your brain off?
That's a great question. I don't know.
By the way, it's assuming facts and lacks foundation, but you can answer anyway.
I think you have to balance it out. You got to take a day off for yourself. You have to plan fun things. You got to spend time with your family. You can grind for a few days and really be productive, but you have to take a day. You have to take moments. For me, doing this, for example, is fun. So I don't necessarily count it as like,
we're fun.
Yeah.
but here's what it is. It's like, I love what I do. So like I'm doing what I love. So all the things I just mentioned that I did, I love that. I love working out. I love going to trial. I love prepping for it. I love, spending time with my family. So if you love all that, you're just doing what you love.
Yeah.
You're just doing it full speed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I guess the break is, try to break. It's not so much a break as it is a break in routine. And maybe, I guess if you wanted to, strike that answer that I said earlier, the idea is it's not so much a vacation, it's a break from your routine. And if you're doing what you love, it's great, but you need to have a break at some point. Just change it up, We're
going to roll into some news segments, so stay with us. After the Kobe Bryant crash, there's been a debate over what, if any, lawsuits will ensue. Will people sue Kobe's estate, the pilot's estate? Will there be enough insurance coverage? How will the charities already that are set up to benefit the victims affect the inevitable lawsuits? I just want to get everybody's take. Tom, you got a take?
It could get messy quick. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if the report came out already on what was the cause of the incident. But right now it looks like there's a lot of responsibility to go around. So you're probably gonna see a lawsuit. I imagine something against potentially the helicopter, maybe whoever was the owner of the helicopter leased it. These are all potential avenues, but how it shakes out at trial, we still have to see who's at fault here, what actually went wrong, and then you go from there. But it's gonna get complicated quick.
Do we think there's any, let's talk about Kobe's estate. Is there can you see an argument for why he can legally, not ethically or morally, legally be held responsible? Is there an argument to say that he knew or should have known that this was going to be a dangerous condition.
That's something that I struggle with as well, is like on what basis could they go after Kobe's estate? I mean, he's just as much as a victim as all of the other victims as well.
It's going to be whatever insurance existed for the pilot, whatever insurance existed for the helicopter, and then those entities, what type of assets they had. Would you take that case? Would you take a case where your hero, let's say you had a couple of the victims come to you, would you be able to take a case against Kobe's estate, for instance?
I mean, I don't think that's the best avenue, is to go after his estate. I mean, I'm not sure what their involvement is, their responsibility, but clearly it's a case worth exploring. I mean, something went wrong that shouldn't have gone wrong. So I think anytime you have a tragedy like that, you have to get to the bottom of it, right? So if I would take a case like that, I would absolutely explore it. I mean, you have to be upfront with the family and let them know that there's a lot of unknowns still, and you have to do the investigation, but absolutely, is it worth, taking? And I'm sure something's there.
Here's a question. One of my friends actually created the website for the charity that Vanessa Bryant just put out. I wonder and I'm sure she's not doing it for this reason, but let's say they went after the estate, Kobe's estate. I wonder if she would argue that there's some sort of offset for the monies that have been raised through the foundation that she started. Do you think there's any argument for that?
Well, I don't even know if it gets there. I guess I just don't, but that would be, I don't know if that
it's such a wild, I don't know why. I mean, my mind obviously thinks like a lawyer and thinks about every potential argument. So
why would the estate be on the hook?
They're going to get sued. Somebody's going to sue them. And so in terms of whether they're going to be on the hook, I think you'd have to make the argument that Kobe knew or should have known there was some issue with the way that this guy was operating, and whether he just said, you know what, hey Kobe, this is going to be, there's these conditions
it's a bumpy
exist,
ride, but let's ride anyway.
And Kobe just said, I got to get to this tournament, that type of thing. If that type of decision was made, who knows if that's even enough? Do you think that's even close to enough?
If you went to the doctors and you said, do this procedure, and the doctor's like, that's not safe, right? I think it's a stretch. I really do, but that's been a narrative that's been going around, is that I've heard. Kobe's this kind of guy. Who knows? Maybe he just said, "Let's do it."
Right.
That's my Kobe voice, I guess. Not really. But
it's tragic. And what's really tough is that there's I hope this is wrong, but there's potentially going to be years of brutal litigation over this. Hopefully there's money from insurance companies that can go around and make people whole to the extent that they can be made whole, which is they can't be made whole. Let's talk about Jeff Bezos, who was sued by his girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez's brother, Michael, for defamation. So a little backstory. About a year ago, Jeff Bezos's nude pictures came out, and there's been all sorts of speculation. How do they come out? Some people allege that it was his girlfriend's brother who leaked it to the press. Some people thought that, I've heard recent reports where MBS from Saudi Arabia basically hacked into Jeff Bezos's phone and got these pictures. The interesting part for me with this case is suing for defamation, these depositions that are going to happen with Bezos. I mean, how does the richest man in the world end up in this situation? Somebody?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happens when you're not focused on your game and you become a millionaire or billionaire.
But he's the most focused person in the world.
Well, clearly
that's what he's known for.
Clearly not. I mean,
what is
he faulted for though? So is Jeff Bezos, is it bad that he sent a nude pic to his girlfriend, or was it his girlfriend at the time?
Yeah, it was his girlfriend.
So is it wrong?
No, you know what? It wasn't. It was not known, I don't think, publicly that it was his girlfriend. Let's just say that he was cheating, or he ended up with this girlfriend. The defamation claim is about the fact that Bezos supposedly claimed that the brother of his girlfriend leaked these pictures. And so that's the claim.
Well, I mean, if they went in and hacked his phone, I mean, that's obviously wrong. I mean,
Right.
they're going to get busted for that, but you have to do a lot of discovery to figure that out, right? I mean, that's going to, like you said, there's going to be a lot of depositions, to uncover that. There's probably going to be a motion for summary judgment on the issues, or I mean, definitely a demur on the complaint. I don't know, because the complaint been filed already?
Yeah, the complaint's been filed.
What's the causes of action?
I think it's centered around defamation.
Well, isn't there that whole defense that if the public is really, really interested in something, then it's a defense. You know what I'm talking about?
No, public really interested in Jeff Bezos' private parts.
Yeah.
Well, no.
If there is a pic to be seen, it's Jeff Bezos.
I'm not sure.
I don't really know.
I don't know.
Look. The bottom line is there's great public interest, whether it's from me or somebody else. There's great. So I think what you're talking about is there's a higher standard when you're trying to sue a public figure, and there's very few people that are more public than Jeff Bezos. There's a higher standard to be able to really make a claim for defamation. But he's actually the real public figure that would be talking about would be the actual brother, because he's the one saying that his reputation has been damaged as a result of this. I
didn't even know who he was until
I didn't know who he was either.
Until this lawsuit.
Exactly. He wants the fame. He wants the clout.
But the one thing that's just so fascinating to me throughout all of these years is that people have just not learned to not send
nude pics.
Like, especially, I mean, I shouldn't say especially famous people, because stars are just like us. But my point is like, I don't know, like,
I can't accept. This is the same thing as the Kobe story. How does Jeff Bezos, one of the most powerful people in the world, allow himself to be hacked? I just don't understand that. Tom?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it wasn't hacked. I mean, that's just the allegation, right? Like,
so, okay. So what's the takeaway, Michelle? What's the takeaway?
Don't send
private
parts.
I really truly don't understand. Like, this is a phenomenon that started when I was in high school. Like, people got kicked out of school for sending nudes, and here we are.
Better watch out. You don't want to incriminate anyone.
No, and like now here we are. Like, I think the takeaway with this is that your wealth doesn't protect you from being an average and normal human being, So
is that the takeaway, Tom?
I mean, I would say that's a great takeaway from
Okay, let's move to Deal of the Week. So this is the segment Deal of the Week. It's a non-legal tip for all the people out there that need some sort of influence in their life. And I know you got something for them.
So my deal of the week is that I urge everybody to go get their astrology chart read.
Oy vey.
And I know that Benjy, and are you skeptical about? Well, we know you're a Libra already.
I'm a Libra. I have my doubts about all of that.
Oh,
do you know you're rising and you're?
Oy. You're gonna start making me speak Yiddish all episode here.
So yes, my deal of the week is that everybody should go get their astrological chart read. It's very fascinating to learn about who you are just internally.
And you need to get your astrology read for that.
And you need to get your astrology read. If you already don't believe in it, what do you lose by going?
Everything.
And so like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see Benjy get his chart read on live LawFlip
No
stream.
No shot. But I'll give you my deal of the week. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Okay, it's pretty good. Larry David is a legend. I didn't like Seinfeld somehow, but I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. It makes sense of everything that's going on in the world. It's really freaking funny. Larry David makes me laugh, and he makes things so uncomfortable, and I just love it. So if you haven't somehow found yourself watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, you must do it now. Tom, give us the deal of the week.
Deal of the week is going to be guilty pleasures. So you definitely have to. You definitely have to have one. And I recommend 3. One is The Bachelor, and not too much of it, but a little bit of it. 90 Day Fiance.
I've heard that's great.
Or Naked and Afraid. All terrible. I mean, just not great shows or programs, but great guilty pleasures. So if one of your spouses or loved ones or boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever it is happens to watch one of those, spend some time with them. Even if you don't like it, watch a little bit of it, have a glass of wine or a drink. It's funny.
What about smoke?
You do.
That's a great deal of the week.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the legal tip of the week. Michelle, give us your legal tip of the week.
I know we all love to talk, but especially Benjy.
That's great. I like that.
But I very, very much urge you guys that once you get into an accident, or even if you're a witness in an accident, don't give a statement to the police or to the insurance people on the other side, because their job is literally to manipulate what you say, catch inaccuracies that they think will help settle the claim for less than what you are owed. And so just
you're telling the people to shut their mouth.
Yeah.
Social media. Okay, we all like it. We're all living our best life. It's cute. We
Except
show our
Jeff
best
Bezos.
side, except Jeff Bezos. So we're all living our best life on social media, but everything you post as a story, as a post, can and will be used against you. You can't claim that you have a devastating injury. And this is actually a true example. You can't claim that you have a devastating injury while posting videos of yourself running on the beach in Hawaii and scuba diving. That doesn't work. And insurance companies find that out. They send it to you and they say, are you sure your client had a devastating injury? Because I see him doing some pretty amazing stuff in Hawaii. Don't post stuff on social media. The point of, or what happens in social media is you are posting your best self. That's not what you want the insurance companies to see. If you're private, if you're private, for instance, Michelle, they will come up with some creepy anonymous person and figure out a way for you to accept it,
infiltrate,
creep onto your Instagram, screenshot it, send it to the people.
Wow. Those are some interesting, I mean, I like those tips, but I think, if you have a good lawyer, some people should still live their lives, right? And
for sure.
You know what I mean? And I would say the tip is, if you are injured, be truthful and be honest with it. And a lot of people try to hide things and it bites you in the butt later. So if you really are injured, then that's what it is. And if you really aren't, or, you can't expect to claim a bunch of money from it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I guess if you're the person running on the beach, you're not really injured. But the bottom line is we all show our best self online. And so somebody who really is going through a brutal time, somebody who's having an employment claim or a personal injury claim, they still want to be human beings and show their best self. We all do that. And so you just have to be careful what you put out there.
I totally agree with that. I guess my tip of the week would be, if something bad happens to you, and it's because of somebody else, I think it's always important to talk to a lawyer. I really do. And it doesn't mean to hire a lawyer. Two totally different things. But I think you should get as much information out there as possible. And if you do hire a lawyer, whether it's real estate, criminal, civil, family, hire someone that you are comfortable with and do your research on them. Definitely. That's my tip of the week.
Can we all agree that nothing is better than traveling? I know, we all agree. We don't even need to say it. Well, when you travel, you need to know the deal. And Just Landed knows the deal. It's a boutique travel and event planning service co-founded by female business partners, Georgie and Samantha, who are making travel agents cool again. You see how we did that? Group travel, particularly destination weddings, honeymoons, retreats, and more. If you're interested in their upcoming yoga wellness retreat, it's going downward dog from February 26th to March 1st. Yoga, accommodations, and meals are all included at a super affordable price on the beautiful island of Holbox, Mexico. Contact them through their website, justlandedconsultancy.com. Tom, it's been a pleasure having you on. Look forward to hanging, working with you. And please let the people know where they could find you.
It's www.feherlawfirm.com, and Feher is Feher. FEHER.lawfirm.com. You find all my contact information on there, verdicts, speaking engagements that I'll be doing. I do a lot of teaching.
All right, so the guy brought his receipts. He crushed it today. We know how to be a trial attorney now. We know how to stay away from being, Jeff Bezos, even though we kind of want to be him, but we don't want to do what he did. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take the fair mentality. We're going to take the mob mentality. We're going to bust our ass, and we're all available. I know Tom is, Michelle, myself. If anybody out there needs help in trying to figure out how to bust out, do your own firm, create your own business, it's all the same. Whether it's law or something else, it's applicable to everything that you're doing. And so any last parting words, Tom?
Fair Bear cares. That's the truth, So
you are the Fair Bear.
I'm the Fair Bear.
Oh,
so,
I love that.
Lead with kindness and, make the most out of your moments.
So thank you so much for coming on. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
We'll see you guys next week.
LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down. LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down.
Okay, so Arian, they're asking where they could find us. So for LawFlip, it's at LawFlip and LawFlip.com. For Smith & Benowitz, our law firm, which does personal injury, employment, and class actions, you can find us at Smith Benowitz and SmithBenowitz.com. For the personal stuff, like where you're really going to find the juicy stuff, at Benjy Smith and BenjySmith.com. At Wages Guru and LewisBenowitz.com for Lewis. Oh, so LawFlip is produced, directed, and edited by the young legend Arian Tabibian. Visual effects and compositions by another young legend, Oren Azad. Intro music provided by Pen Practice. Pen Practice, what is it? Premium instrumentals for upcoming artists by the music industry's top producers. For more info, visit penpracticemusic.com. I had so much fun recording the intro song with my man Hilton Deuce Wright. Looking forward to hearing more and more from Pen Practice. So the LawFlip identity, this hot logo that you're looking at, created by Garrett Whiston and Travis Nagel. Special thank you to Shai and Seth from the Horwitz Marketing Agency. A huge thank you to Aaron and Vanessa from Smith & Benowitz for endlessly dealing with all of our podcast bullshit. And lastly, a huge thank you to our beautiful wives, Julie and Lisa, for supporting our vision, and all the love to all of our 4 boys combined. Disclaimer, this podcast is made available by Smith & Benowitz for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is only intended to provide general information and opinions about legal and other concepts, and is not intended to be used as a source of legal advice or relied on for legal advice. By listening to this podcast, you understand that no attorney-client relationship is being formed between you and Smith & Benowitz or any of its attorneys. This podcast should not be used as a substitute for competent legal advice from a licensed professional attorney in your state.